What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG TCG video. Today, guys, we're going to be doing a 2-for-1 special, as we are going to be going over two new waves of support in the form of the new Purrely support and the new Mikanko support. Typically, I don't normally do these type of videos. Typically, I reserve a video specifically for a new support, but since we've gotten a lot of card game news over the last couple of weeks with the stuff from Duelist Explosion and Animation Chronicles 2023, and even some other stuff for Duelist Nexus in the form of Altergeist and the new Mythical Beasts support with the new typing as well, which I'm very excited to discuss. I just thought, you know what, these cards don't really have that much new support. In fact, each new archetype is getting 2 new cards for their respective supports. So I just thought, you know what, let's just bundle into a nice little 2-for-1 deal. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. So without further ado, let's not waste any more time and let's jump right into the new support. So the way that we're going to be doing this video, since I don't normally do these 2-for-1 specials, if you will, I'm basically going to go over each support in its entirety throughout the video. So in the context of this video, since we're going over the Purrely and the Mikanko support, I'm going to be going over the new Purrely support first, since it was announced first, go and read the cards, then give my overall thoughts on the new Purrely support, then go over the Mikanko cards and give my overall thoughts on the Mikanko cards. So basically, we're just going to be splitting it up and discussing one support at a time in its entirety. So that's how the structure of this is going to be. So let's jump right into it with the first new support for the Purrely archetype, and that is Purrely Noir, a rank 2 Dark Fairy Xyz effect monster with 1000 attack and 2000 defense, and its materials are 2 level 2 monsters. It has 2 effects, the first one being once per turn, you can discard 1 card, then target 1 card your opponent controls, or up to 2 if this card has Purrely Sleeping Memory as material. Return it to the hand. Its second effect is up to thrice per turn. When you activate a Purrely Quick Play spell card Quick Effect, you can attach that card on the field to this card as material, then you can set 1 Purrely trap directly from your deck. I mean, this card is just insane. The first effect to be able to just bounce cards back to your opponent's hand or extra deck if it's an extra deck monster is insane in its own regards, and you potentially get to bounce 2 cards if you have Purrely Sleeping Memory, not to mention the fact that since Sleeping Memory would be attached to this card during your opponent's standby phase, you'll also be able to draw a card, which is actually pretty nice. And then its second effect is where this card really shines. Like, if you thought the first effect was solid, the second effect, it just makes it even better. To be able to just set any Purrely trap card directly from your deck to your field is insane in its own regard, but the fact that you can do this 3 times a turn as long as you've activated 3 Purrely Quick Play spell cards, which is very easy to do in this archetype, is just... it's just insane. This card is absolutely bonkers, and I absolutely love this card. You know, this card, I don't know how much more I can say with this card. This card is just absolutely incredible, and this is a must-have for any Purrely deck that you want to build. This card is just incredible. Very, very satisfied with this card. So with that being said, let's get into our next card, which is Purrely Sherely, a normal trap card that target 1 Purrely Xyz monster you control, special summon 1 level 1 Purrely monster from your deck, but its effects are negated, and if you do, special summon from the extra deck 1 Purrely monster with the same rank as the targeted monster, but different attribute. By using the summon monster as material, this is treated as an Xyz summon. Then you can take from your deck 1 card with the same name as a Purrely Quick Play spell, attach it to the targeted monster as material, and attach it to the Xyz summon monster as material. So this is actually a really solid card to be able to go into any one of your Purrely Xyz monsters as long as you have a Purrely Xyz monster on the field. So like, let's say for example, you know, that kind of fit with the theme of the new support. Let's say you have Noir on the field, you use the effect to be able to set this trap directly to your field, then during the time where you can actually activate it, so either during your opponent's turn or during your next turn, you can activate this card. You know, you target Noir, you summon either Purrely or Purrely Lily, and then you're able to go into any one of your Purrely Xyz monsters, whether it would be Beauty, whether it be Happiness, Plump, or if you want to go into another copy of Noir, it doesn't put that restriction on it. In fact, the only restriction that they have with it is that it has to be a different attribute, which the only thing it really affects is Noir and Happiness, since they're light and dark, and Purrely Lily are light and dark, but literally the only way you get around that is just by summoning the one with a different attribute. So like, let's say you want to go into Happiness, for example, since you already have Noir on the field, you just summon Purrely Lily, and then you're able to go in that. Not to mention the fact you also get to have that Xyz monster have a Purrely Quick Play spell attached to the card directly from your deck, which is very solid in its own regards as well. And then, you know, with Beauty and Plump, you don't have to worry about it because their attributes are water and earth, and there is no Purrely main deck monster that really conflicts with that. But overall, I think for a trap card itself, I think it's very solid. Yeah, it's on a little bit of a slower side, but it's a trap card. What do you really expect? But especially with the fact that Noir can't search this card, I do think that this card is very solid. It's just another easy way to get one of your Purrely Xyz monsters to the field, and overall, I do think it is a very solid card for the archetype. And with that, that's pretty much going to be it for the new Purrely support. Quick general thoughts on it. Very solid support. I really did enjoy these two cards. You know, I think they are very solid. These are easy staples for the Purrely archetype, especially Noir. That card is absolutely going to be part of any Purrely deck. It's just an insane card. It does so much for the archetype, and it's not like the archetype was bad. Like, let's be honest, I do think it is a very solid archetype. So the fact that we are getting this, although it wasn't really necessarily needed support because it was already solid, but you know what, more good support, I'll take it. I really do think these new cards are very solid, especially when it comes to Noir. I think it's a very solid card. And not even the chef on Purrely Shirley, I think that card is also very solid to just get another one of your Purrely Xyz monsters to the field with ease, and being able to get, you know, a quick play spell card immediately added to that Xyz monster as well. Like, you know, like I said, I don't think they really necessarily needed this good of support, but you know what, I will take it. I think it is very good support, and I'm very excited to see these cards really improve the Purrely deck. But with that being said, let's get into now the Mikanko support. So the first card that we're going to be discussing for the new Mikanko support is Araheim the Manifested Mikanko, a level 9 light fairy ritual effect monster with 0 attack and defense, and you can ritual summon this card with Mikanko Kagura, and you can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn, and it has 3 effects. The first one is that this card is in your hand or graveyard, and you have another Mikanko card in your graveyard. You can target one face-up monster on the field, equip it to this card. Second effect is once returned during the end phase. If this card is equipped to a monster, you can return this card and the equipped monster to the hand, and its third effect is that it cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, your opponent takes any battle damage you have taken from battles involving this card. Just your typical Mikanko effect, which is one of the whole entire things with the archetype, so nothing too surprising there. So its unique effect basically is that it can equip onto any monster, whether it's your opponent or you, and then during the end phase you can return this card and the equipped card back to your hand, basically kind of having like their own pseudo compulse, which is alright. I don't think it's anything too crazy. I do think it's just a nice way to be able to bounce a card. It does suck that it has to be during the end phase, which I do think is a little bit unfortunate. I would have liked if it allowed you to be able to do it right away. I think that would have been really cool, but you know, I guess to be fair, you're still going to be able to just bounce the card anyways, but your opponent has a chance to be able to do something with it. So I don't know. To me, although I do think it's cool that you can be able to compulse a card back to your opponent's hand, or if it's an extra deck monster, you'll be able to bounce it back into your extra deck, which is pretty nice. But I don't know, I just would have liked if you could have just done it right away so it wouldn't have to be a big threat on the field. So overall, I do think it's an alt-right card. It just doesn't really do a whole lot. All it does is just it bounces a monster back into the hand. So yeah, I just think it's an alt-right card. So with that being said, let's get into our next and actually our final monster for the video, which is Mikanko Spiriting Away, a normal trap card that reads, you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls, equip that face-up monster to a Mikanko monster you control, then if there's a ritual monster card on the field, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each equipped spell you control. Second effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one of your Mikanko monsters that is banished, or in your hand. So this card is pretty interesting. The first effect, to be able to just take one of your opponent's monsters and equip it to one of your Mikanko monsters, is pretty nice. You know, just kind of like a pseudo way of just removing monsters from your field and being able to equip it to one of your monsters. So if you kind of like, let's say, you know, you ritual it off for one of your Mikanko ritual monsters, you also get to destroy that monster, which is pretty nice as well. But let's say you already have that on the field and then you activate this and steal that monster, you're now able to also deal a little bit of burn damage for every equipped spell that you have in your possession. So let's say you have 2 equipped spells, for example, you get to deal a nice 1,000 points of damage to your opponent, which is nothing too crazy, you know, it's just a little bit of burn damage, but honestly it's not really that bad either. I just think that's an alright thing. Honestly, the only reason you're really playing this card is that you're just being able to take one of your opponent's monsters and equip it to one of your Mikanko cards, which isn't really that bad. And then the second effect is just another nice way to be able to get another Mikanko monster onto the field, whether it's from your hand or whether it's one of your banished Mikanko monsters, which is just alright in my personal opinion. So overall, I think this card is just alright. I can maybe see you playing a copy of this card, but I don't think it's really that necessary. I just think overall it's just an alright card for just being able to take one of your opponent's monsters and potentially dealing a little bit of burn, and being able to banish this card to special summon another Mikanko from your hand or that is banished. So yeah, overall, just an alright card. And with that said, that's pretty much going to be it for the new Mikanko support. I'm not going to lie, you know, compared to the Purrely support, I think this is just pretty lackluster, I'm not going to lie. I think the support is alright, but I don't think it really gives a big boost to the Mikanko archetype. I really think it still needs a lot more to really do anything, and it's cool support, don't get me wrong, and I'm glad that they did get some more support. But I do hope we kind of get a little bit of better support, because I'm not going to lie, this support is just not for me. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and say that the support is terrible. I don't think that in the slightest. I just think it's alright support. I can see these cards being played in a Mikanko deck, but I don't think it really helps the archetype that much. But hey, you know what? Any support is good support in my personal opinion. I'm glad that this deck did get support. Would I like it to get better support? Of course. But you know what? You're not going to have a hit every single time, you know, so even though I just think it's alright, it's still cool that the archetype did get some nice support for this set. But that's my thoughts on the new Mikanko support, and that's gonna be pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the 2 new archetypes getting support down below, and let me know which support are you more excited for. Are you excited more for the Purrely support, or are you more excited for the Mikanko support? But I'd really like to hear you guys' thoughts on the new support as a whole, and what you're most excited for from these 2 new archetypes in terms of support. But with that being said, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, guys, take care and have yourselves a great rest of your day.